Lequita Brooks here. Welcome to the Single Moms Brunch Podcast. Yes, we are going to chat it up, ladies. Yes, we are. Where we have conversations about mindsets, opportunities, money, and definitely success. Go grab your mimosa, your eggs Benedict, or maybe even your Eggo waffle and join the conversation. Hey there, moms! Welcome to a new episode of the Single Moms Brunch Podcast. I'm your host, Lequita Brooks, and today we're talking about from stagnant to strategy. Yes, moms, we're talking about how to go from being, I guess, where you're at right now. And sometimes it's like it feels like you're not really moving the way that you want to move, or that you're not accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish. So that's what I mean by saying stagnant, to actually creating a strategy so then you can move past your current reality. And listen here, moms, life happens. Life happens to all of us. So whether you are a working single mom because of an unplanned pregnancy, divorce, or you're a widow, make the best of being a mom that is single. Know that you're rocking it. Know that you can push past feeling any guilt. Know that you can have the time for your child that you want to have. Know that you might feel some anger or some frustration at times, but just know that you control your destiny. You control what happens right now, today. You have the opportunity to make the best of being a mom that's single. Now, listen, moms, for the month of March, our theme is luck is for leprechauns, strategy is for single working moms. And I'm quite sure you've heard of a leprechaun at some point in your life. Listen, we're not lucky like that, okay? We have to have strategy to really accomplish the things that we want to accomplish, to be able to do the things that, we want to do. And before I forget, make sure you get your free gift. Go to www.singlemomsbrunch.com. Once again, that is www.singlemomsbrunch.com. And for the month of March going into April, the free gift is actually a free virtual training. Yes, called Be the Best Mom. I've read your surveys, I've gotten your emails, I've gotten your texts, and all of the moms that I've heard from said, I want to be the best mom. So listen, I'm hosting a free training for Be the Best Mom. So make sure you get your free gift at singlemomsbrunch.com. So answer this question for me, moms. What is holding you back from creating and following through on your strategy? So for this particular episode, it's going to be a little bit different because typically I'm just asking, one question. But with this, to me, it's not just about creating a strategy. No, it's about creating a strategy and then actually following through on it. So what is holding you back from creating and following through? Okay, so this past weekend, I was at IHOP. IHOP, the breakfast place. Let me tell you, they had one of the best strategies to get people seated and to get people out. Listen, there was a line outside of the door, and we're social distancing. So you would think, like I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to take 45 minutes for me just to sit down and eat. Let me tell you, moms, their system was so in sync. It flowed extremely well. It was a very effortless. Even to actually check in, it didn't take long. And to officially be seated, just based on the amount of people, you would think it would have taken 45 minutes, but really it only took like 15 minutes. And one thing that I observed, I was sitting there, like literally, they had one person that would walk around to see if anyone recently left. Then they would have another person walk around to come and actually clean off the table. Then they had another person walk around and spray the tables. I'm guessing with some type of disinfectant spray. And then once again, you had the host came back around and set individuals. So it happened so perfectly. Like they had a heck of a system. And for those of you who might not be familiar with IHOP, another great example is Chick-fil-A. Have you ever seen the dual Chick-fil-A lines? Like they have people outside with tablets getting your order. So all you have to do is get your receipt. Once you get further up, like that Chick-fil-A line is all I can say is they've mastered systems also. So in your particular life, what is holding you back? Like there's something. So if you know that you should be further along than where you're at right now, that means that there is something that's holding you back from either A, creating it, or B, following through on it. Which one is it? Either way, I need you to push forward in 2021, Mom. Yes, you got to push forward. So what is holding you back from creating and following through on your strategy? So think about this. How do you perceive your ability to create and follow through on your strategy? Your perception. We pretty much talk about this every single week. So you know that maybe you've created the strategy, but then maybe you don't perceive that you can follow through, or maybe you don't perceive that you can actually create it. Let me tell you, Mom, 2008, I created a strategy. All I knew was that I want to live a life of purpose. Having 10 hustles, making money, having flexibility and time for my child was important, but I hated all the jobs that I did. So what did I do? I created a strategy that helped me to downsize on my expenses. I'm not telling you all to take this route, but I had to downsize on my expenses, apply to go to college, look for housing for me and my 4-year-old at that time. So it was a very systematic approach. In order to go back to school, I had to downsize on my expenses. In order to move to Tallahassee, I had to find somewhere affordable to live. In order to pay for college, I had to figure out how I'm going to get funding. And even though I was a mom that was single, I already had a bachelor's degree. And most people don't just pay for master's degrees. So there was a whole strategy that went along with that. And my perception was, hey, if I prepare, if I do the things that I know that's within my power to do, I believe everything else is going to fall into place. So how do you perceive your ability? Your ability to create, your ability to follow through on your strategy. Perception is everything. How you perceive yourself, how you perceive your abilities will dictate how far along you actually get with the things that you want to do in your life. And as you know, challenges always occur. So it's a chance, moms, that you were like, hey, Lequita, I've actually tried. I've tried to create a strategy. I've tried to follow through, but I continue having challenges that keep coming up that's hindering me from creating and or following through. And as I always say, for every problem, there is a solution. So let me tell you, in 2003, when I initially graduated with my bachelor's degree, I didn't know any better. All I did was I just went to college. Like that was it. I didn't know that I needed to get an internship, build relationships, build my resume. I didn't know any of that. I just went to college. So when I graduated, I thought, okay, I've graduated, I can't get a job, but you know what? Let me go work for Department of Children and Families. And do you know, Department of Children and Families would not hire me because, I had a few accidents on my record. It was like, No, Lequita, your driving record is not good enough to work for the Department of Children and Families. And I know that is pretty bad. Yes, it definitely was back then. So that was a challenge. That was a challenge that hindered me from actually getting a job. Did that mean that I stayed unemployed forever? No. It just meant that I needed to seek employment at companies that did not care about my driving record in that particular season. Since in 2003, it was looking very questionable. So what challenges have you experienced with creating and following through on your strategy? Problems come, there's always a solution. So my solution was explore other careers. And luckily, my first job was because of my mom, at a home health agency. Whew. Thank goodness for a mom that had a career, because unless that, I don't know what would have happened. So what are you going to do to overcome that challenge you're experiencing when it comes to creating and following through on your strategy? And with that, what can you do to overcome the challenges that are hindering you from creating and following through on your strategy? So let me give you a few examples. So maybe you're like, Lequita, I just don't have the time. So you don't have the time, right? The first thing I would tell you is, look at how do you spend your day? Like if you say you do not have any time, really sit down. And I know you don't have time, but listen, you got to make time. Got to make time, mom. Make the time. Make the time to write out, how do you spend your day every day? Like you're waking up in the morning. What do you do? Do you have more than one child? Are you getting them to school? Do you have to go to work? Like literally write out everything you're doing during the day, and then look at some of those things that you might be doing that you technically could delegate to someone else. So I had a client once, and they were, experiencing some stress. They needed FMLA, so family medical leave of absence, for those of you all who don't know. They were married and they had adult kids. And one of the things they said, well, yeah, Lakeith, I'm going to have to, fold my adult kids' clothes. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you're stressed out. You need family medical leave of absence. You're constantly breaking down at work, like far as crying. And you think that it's a priority to fold your adult children clothes? Like, no, like today, right now, I need your adult children to fold their own clothes. Like, that is not something you should be doing. Or even if you have traditions where you're accustomed to doing the Easter egg hunt or the family dinner every Sunday, if you know that you don't have enough time for yourself in this season, and you know you don't have enough time to be with your child, then there are some things that you need to delegate or just not do it all. But you have to make the time, because guess what? Your child will not be a child forever. You have to maximize this time while you have. Maybe the challenge that you're having is that you're angry. You're angry because you never signed up to be a single mom. Well, let me tell you this, mom. Let me tell you. 95%, and I would say even higher, but we're going to at least say 95% of moms that are single moms, they did not sign up to be a single mom. That was not on their forecast. Most young girls grow up with the vision of, getting married, having the white picket fence, and then having kids. And that could have been your vision. But and you know what? And it's a chance you might have had it, but then you became divorced, maybe widow, or it was just an unplanned pregnancy. But either way, things did not go the way you wanted them to. And 95% of other working single moms that's just like you are in that same exact boat. It was not planned. So you're feeling anger. It's kind of like you're still going through a loss, and you haven't fully gotten to a point of acceptance. And acceptance doesn't mean that your life is going to always be this way. It doesn't mean that 5 years down the line, you're expected to just be single. Not saying there's anything wrong with it, because let me tell you, have a pretty rock star life as a working single mom. So for me to get married, it's going to have to be an extremely great situation, because my life really rocks right now with me and my daughter. But that's neither here nor there. I kind of digress. But the point I'm making is you have to get past that anger, because yes, it happened. It's unfortunate. 95% of other single moms are feeling just like you, but you have to make that decision to push forward and say, you know what? I'm single. I didn't plan on being a single mom. Now what? What am I going to do? So what are you going to do, mom? What are you going to do to push past that anger? And then having the guilt. I've read so many articles about working mom guilt and how moms are feeling so bad because If they're playing with their child, they feel guilty because they're not cleaning. If they're cleaning, they feel guilty they're not with their child. Or because they're working extremely long hours. Listen, cut all the fat out of your life right now. Like in this season, you can't afford to have any fat. All of the fat has to go. Things that you used to do that's no longer helping you, no longer benefiting you. And that includes people, that includes places that you used to go, that includes things or activities that you're participating in. It includes all of that. If anything, and I mean anything, is taken away from your well being and the well being of your child, it has to go like ASAP. So that's what you could do to overcome the challenges that are hindering you from creating and following through on your strategy. It's a strategy. So no matter if it's time, anger, guilt, even finances, you have to identify, hey, how much money am I currently bringing in? And what am I actually spending money on? It could be that you have disposable income, but you're spending a lot of money on different things that you probably shouldn't. Or it could be you just don't have enough, but you have to identify that for yourself. But you have to create a strategy to get to the point where you want to be. So first, identify what the problem is. Identify the things that you can possibly change. And then from that, create that strategy. So then you can overcome the challenges that are hindering you from creating and following through on that strategy that you're going to make. And what date and time are you going to implement the steps required to create and follow through on your strategy? And I know you're thinking, Mom, it's 2021 and I just don't have any time. I don't have any time for anything. And let me tell you, Mom, the decisions that I made in 2008, I would have never in my wildest dreams envisioned that my life would be this way in 2021. And as of today, I'm working towards 2023, Lequita. Like I was thinking about, the Lequita Brooks of 2008. I thought about the 2013 Lequita Brooks, the 2018 Lequita Brooks, and the future 2023 Lequita Brooks. So what date and time are you going to implement the steps required to create and follow through on your strategy? The 2008 Lequita Brooks was not the single mom's brunch person. Let me say, I was not the single mom's brunch. I was the, you know what? I have all these hustles. I have flexibility. I'm the homeroom mom. I make enough money. I have some time, but I have no purpose. So the 2008 Lequita, all she cared about was having purpose along with being the homeroom mom, having flexibility, and having money. The 2013 Lequita, she had already pushed past. So she had a career by then. So Lequita Brooks 2013 had a career, worked in the community, doing hospice, had flexibility, had income, started rebuilding her credit, was still able to be there for her daughter. The 2018 Lequita was at a point where it's like, you know what? Life happens. And yes, I don't mind keeping a job, but I'm not required to continue working at a job if I need to leave because I have enough money in the bank to go ahead and quit. Now, I'm not saying like rich. No, I'm just saying 1 year's worth of salary in the bank. So at each increment, there was a different version of me. And just like with you, there's a different version of you. But the only way you're going to have a different version is if you do something now. Because I didn't know in 2008 that those decisions would lead to where I'm at in 2021. We put together a plan. We think about what we want to do. We create that strategy. We follow through on it. But we don't always know the outcome. But I will tell you this. Every single time, it has never missed a beat. Every single time. I don't know what you believe in. And to me, honestly, it really doesn't matter to me. But just know when you do your part and you do what you need to do for you, there are going to always be people, places, things, situations, opportunities that come in to support what you're doing to take it to that next level. So you do your part, you create your strategy, you follow through, and I guarantee, I mean, I guarantee things will fall into place, opportunities and things will come. You just never know where they're going to come from. It has happened in my life consistently, and I'm not anybody special. Nobody special at all, but it has consistently happened in my life time and time and time again. So I tell you, make it happen, moms. Implement those steps required to create and follow through on your strategy. And you will never be the best mom if you don't create a strategy and follow through on it to become the best version of you, mom. You have to be the best version of you. Like, we all, as parents, we do the best we can in that particular moment. And when I say like that moment, I mean literally that second. You will make the best decision possible. So we can't live in regret, because hindsight is 2020. We all, like, after different things happen or we do things or say things, as a parent, you're going to always reflect on it and say, you know what, I could have done this differently, or I could have done that differently. And that's going to happen. So focus on the present, but make sure you're working towards being the best version of you, because the better you are, the better mom you can be to your child and be there for them when they really need you. I am Lequita Brooks, and thank you so much for tuning in to the Single Moms Brunch podcast. And until next Sunday at 11 a.m. For joining me today at the Single Moms Brunch podcast. Yes, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and tell all the other moms that you know about it. And you know what, mom? I can't let you go without giving you a free gift. So make sure you go to www.singlemomsbrunch.com. Once again, that is singlemomsbrunch.com to get your free gift. I am Lequita Brooks. And remember, you are not a single mom.